You might have already seen some of the fear mongering that's happening about the month of April and the astrology of the month. But here's the thing: April begins in the middle of something already happening, and the middle is where the mess is. The middle is where the nitty gritty is. It's where all of the decisions need to happen in order for things to keep flowing and end up in whatever fruition they are destined to become. And so there's nothing to be afraid of. Let's talk about the month of April. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Graciela Moore. I am a writer, narrator, and certified coach, and I wrote this agenda where we follow the moon, and month to month we have specific manifestations, journaling promptings, and weekly affirmations to get you through each and every one of the monthly cycles. Now, we begin the month with a full moon in Libra, which might bring or illuminate a lot of drama. Libra is the relationship, Libra is the harmony or peacekeeper, or lack thereof, all of the above. And then we have the new moon in Taurus on April 17th. But a lot of the drama comes from Mars joining Neptune and Saturn in the sign of Aries, where the sun is. So that is going to be a rocking of the boat, but it doesn't mean that we don't have our hands tightly on the reins, tightly on the steering wheel. We know what we're doing because the month of April doesn't ask so much. What am I ready to start, even though we just had that spring equinox? But it really asks, what am I already inside of? What have I been building that now I am refining, distilling, and putting a lot of strategic action in? As you know, every month I have chosen a specific quote on the agenda, and this year, on year number 4 with this book, I've decided that every quote every month is from a woman author or speaker. And so here is this month's choice by Sarah Ban Brethnach. Our deepest wishes are whispers of our authentic self. We must learn to respect them. We must learn to listen. Well, here's the thing about anticipatory fear mongering content that you might see ahead of some of the transits happening month to month, and why I prefer to focus on where the moon is and the moon calendar and not so much everything else, even though I might know where the planets are, or we may mention it, bring it up, or discuss it. And the thing is, when you understand that everything is a process and everything is a cycle, then you don't dive headfirst into seeking understanding before things are meant to be understood. And while they are in the middle of unfolding, sometimes there is no clarity, even though there is light and understanding or some sort of insight. You may not put two and two together yet. And so every single moon, the moon illuminating in Libra, some of the things that you may be keeping inside to keep the peace, for example. We're going to talk about the questions in the journal in a second. But whatever the moon is going to illuminate, then Scorpio is going to hopefully feel and essentially transform. And then Sagittarius is going to alchemize those emotions and turn them into something good, hopefully, aim them in a direction that is for growth and the good of all. and so on and so forth. And so the moon in each sign plays such a big role because then Capricorn, the moon in Capricorn, is going to start building from the rubble. And so, all of that to say, the cycle of the moon plays such a huge part because our emotional landscape is what paints the reality in front of you. The more I keep reading about quantum physics, the more that all of this content just makes sense. But the whole zodiac of it all feels like so micro, compared to the rest of the universe. But all in all, the month of April is fine because it is. Because that's part of the strategy. Let's look at the journaling questions from the book for this full moon in Libra. Where am I giving too much of myself in the name of peace? And where am I withholding truth for fear of conflict? What does balanced love look and feel like to me? Not as a performance, but as lived truth. And the affirmation for this full moon in Libra: balance restores me. I honor the dance of give and receive. May truth and tenderness walk hand in hand as I weave harmony between myself and the world. No mask, no mirror, only reflection divine. So it is, and so I shine. By the 6, whatever the moon has illuminated is going to start making sense, and that waiting gibbous in Sagittarius is going to aim for it to have some strategic direction. And here's the affirmation for that week: the fire of knowing burns clear within me. I release false stories and keep the wisdom. Each truth I gather lights the road ahead. I walk unbound, guided by meaning and trust. By the 13th, with that waning crescent in Pisces, there is an end of sorts because Pisces is the end of the zodiac. So there is a previous cycle that opened up the last time the moon was in Pisces, and so now it's closing again. And of course, the waning crescent is wiping or cleansing or tying loose ends from previous full moons that illuminated whatever it is that they illuminated that now is finally coming to a close. And so the affirmation for that waning crescent in Pisces is this one: the tides pull softly at my soul. I dissolve what no longer serves the dream. I am held and renewed. I drift toward dawn, trusting the unseen. Now, here's the bottom line about all of these lunar and zodiac cycles moving forward. For as long as Neptune and Saturn are in Aries for the next few years, every time the sun is in Aries, every time the moon is in Aries, every time a challenging planet like Pluto or Mars are in Aries or in any challenging aspect to Aries while Saturn and Neptune are in it, there is going to be trauma. But that is the point of slow living by the moon, slowing down enough to notice the cycles and to take advantage of the cycles. Because once you bring awareness to a very strategic kind of focus, which is methodical and cyclical, you get to squeeze out the most out of these experiences that you are automatically already manifesting by being aware of their possibility, because that's how it works. Let's talk about the new moon, April 17th. Remember, it doesn't matter where the planets are, the new moon is a set time for manifesting or setting intentions, planting those seeds of hope, planting those seeds of that idea or that intention, that one thing that maybe I wouldn't have tried before today, but maybe this is the day, maybe this is the year. And so here are the questions that go with this new moon. Oh, this is a good one. Where am I being called to begin again? Not from rebellion, but from truth. Consider what you've been resisting or longing for. What does sovereign leadership look like to you in this season of fire? And here is the affirmation for the new moon in April. I stand at the edge of becoming, bare to the bone of my will. The old ashes fall from my shoulders. I am the ember that chooses to live. Let my courage be quiet when it must, and bold when the path demands a name. I claim my motion, my breath, my rise. No other voice commands my flame. And so it is. By Monday, April 20th, there is already some growth happening in the things that we have been building. And you can see it because spring is sprung and life is happening all around. And so, with the emphasis on bringing awareness by slowing down and journaling, with an emphasis on gratitude. Every Sunday, as you know, the book invites you to share some gratitude about everything that has unfolded on the week and everything that you are looking ahead for and hoping for. And then every Monday, we focus on specific goals that we want to achieve for the week. All in all, the goal is the process of taking the week and slowing down. So by April 20th, we have a waxing crescent in Gemini and an affirmation to get you through the week. So let's check that one out. Words are seeds. I plant them with purpose. Breath by breath, ideas take flight. I speak what I seek and listen for guidance. The wind carries my promise into motion. Now, once the sun moves into Taurus by April 20th, things will begin to stabilize and slow down. And the thing about building and the thing about playing the long game is that when things slow down, we tend to get impatient. We tend to want to hurry up and sometimes stumble and fumble in our efforts to speed the clock when in reality things unfold. They already are. The best way to not freak out about the process or the possibility of things not going fast enough or whatever it is you want to tell yourself is to focus on the one thing you can do right now and on the gratitude of looking back at every single thing you have done so far to lead you toward that one thing you're building. And by the 27th, that waxing gibbous in Virgo, right before closing the cycle of the month, starting with a Libra moon and ending with a Libra moon, Virgo is going to methodically and systematically figure out all of those things that the moon illuminated at the beginning of the month. Things are shaping up, things are evolving. And one of the things I wanted to do, not only because we are away on holiday as I record this, but because I want to also evolve in my method in how we do things and in how we show up. And so I want to try, and I hope you will support me, try what showing up once a month for a whole month ahead overview of the lunar cycle and what that feels like. Because the meditation mid month has been so well received that I am excited to share the April meditation mid month as we lead into the sun moving into Taurus by April 20th. And so, two videos a month feels like slowing down even further for me and more distilling of the message and more translating into a conversation that we can have more succinctly in order to maximize my time and presence because I'm really excited with the work that I am currently working on and putting together for next year. And so, what do you think? I hope that this resonates with you. I am so grateful for you watching, interacting, sharing, and most importantly, sharing the link in the bio or going to the link to get the book so that you can share in the journey and journal the journey along. I love you so much, and I will be back next month. I love you all. Thank you. Bye.